What's up, everybody? Welcome to another weekly Q&A. How is everybody doing? What's up, Insight TV? James Yellow, what's up, dude? Modern Vintage, always good to see you. Beneath, how's it going? Carl, Bo, James, Miguel, how's everybody doing? It's a good week. It's a very, very good week. I took Friday and Monday off, got to work on a lot of content, so I'm really, really excited. So I'm doing really good, James. I'm doing really, really good. Yeah, all good things. So yeah. So good to see you guys. Good to see you. So what you been all up to this week? Have you guys gotten a chance to check out Plainy's new presets? They put. Let me find them real quick, actually, just so I could put them in the chat, just in case. Let's see. Download archetype Nolly presets. Well, darn. That's just gonna go straight to. All right. Tyler Britton, what's up, dude? All right, so if you guys haven't checked out Plainy's new presets, I put the link to the downloads page in the chat, so definitely go check that out after the Q&A is all up. All right. So, what you guys got for me this week? Okay, so James Yellow, you're asking, so he has to go in a moment, but he has a question. When he records something on his DAW, doesn't matter if it's Adobe Audition, Cubase, or whatever, when he uses more than four Fortin NTS plugins at the same time, it's bugging out. Computer's pretty good. Okay, so I mean, like, there's unfortunately, I always have to go over the obvious, buffer size, that sort of thing. There's a couple of other things that you can do as well, as far as, like, I think that you might be able to render the tracks in Cubase, so that way if yeah, Tyler, kicking it old school. Yeah, absolutely. This was a gift from my girlfriend. She got this for me. Let's see. Okay, so back to James. So what exactly is it doing when it's bugging out? Is it making like crackling sounds? Is it popping? Is the audio going in and out? Because that might help with the direction on where I kind of address this. Go ahead and put that in the chat if you got a chance. One question about the Nolly plugin: can I create a bank of presets out of the user folder? Yeah. Yeah, actually, Miguel, so what's kind of cool about the user folder is that you can actually create subfolders within that. At least I'm pretty sure. I was able to do it with one of mine. But basically what it is you go into the user folder, you can actually create like subfolders. So like if you want to do like metal presets and rock presets and funk presets or whatever, then you can do that. Let's see. All right. But I think that addresses your question, but let me know if you need me to clarify any of those points. So, okay. So James, so it's crackling, kind of stops playing, and just really bugging, like if the program would overload. Don't know how to describe it. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna say in Cubase you can check the system usage. I think it's F12 or F11 if I remember correctly. But you can check the system usage. If it's peaking out or if it's like redlining, then yeah, you're gonna get crackling. So my best guess is to check to make sure that your system is overloading, and if that's the case, check it out with support at Neural DSP, because those guys are awesome, and they'll take more than good care of you. So talk to my guys over there, and they'll help sort you out with a couple of options. So yeah, and hopefully that can help you out. Um, if you and also if you check the Facebook group, I don't know if you're part of the Facebook group yet or not, but like check through the Facebook group and do a search on crackling or buffer or CPU usage, and you'll come up with a bunch of different threads. And people have already kind of gone over that in pretty good detail. So they should be able to help you. So hopefully that sorts out your problem. But yeah, so hopefully that helps. And yeah, have a good night, James. All right, modern vintage, my dude. The new Pliny presets are a black hole of inspiring tone. I totally agree. I love that he named one of them after Devin Townsend, Cumulo Nimrod. Because I don't know if you read the yeah. Have a good night, James. Talk to you soon, man. We'll see you next week. Okay, so yeah, back to the Pliny presets. Yeah, so he said that it was inspired and named by Devin Townsend after seeing one of his live acoustic shows. I want to see Devin Townsend live playing acoustic. I got to see Devin Townsend play in my home city, Sacramento, once, but I don't remember much of that night, unfortunately. So it was not a good night. Cool. So, y'all got questions for me? I have answers. Yeah, I thought that if you guys wanted, I could also go over the Pliny presets a little bit. And I'm kind of just taking a look at them myself, so I'll be like working through them while I'm going, but I can always, pick up my guitar and play a little bit for you guys on some of the presets, cuz yeah, I'm just kind of digging into them. They sound pretty cool. Um have you guys tried the High Life preset, trio preset, I guess? I don't know. It's pretty cool. I'm kind of digging it so far. All right. Adam Berger, are you from Sac as well? Nice. That's awesome, dude. What part of Sacramento are you from? I'm generally from around between Sacramento and Rancho Cordova. So like if you know where Rosemont is, like that's my neighborhood. Oh, Folsom. Awesome. Yeah, I've always loved Folsom. Yeah, I was there up until about a year ago, actually, just a little over a year ago. Grew up, born and raised. Oh, so Bo James is asking about the yellow curvy panels behind and on the sides. So these, let's see if I'll pull up my camera. Yeah, so these are basically absorber diffusers. So like behind the wavy panel, like that's wood. There's acoustic foam behind that. But it also kind of reflects some of the audio as well, so it's diffusing and absorbing at the same time. Okay. Modern vintage, some of those preset effects remind me of the Chase Bliss vibe. Yeah. Definitely. I kind of dig like I dig the tones, and I think that they're pretty awesome. I've always loved the reverb on the Pliny. I want to say that the reverb on the Pliny is probably my all-time favorite so far that Neural has come out with. Like I love the Nolly reverb, but if I had to choose between the two of them, I would definitely go with the Pliny. Okay, so Miguel says, sorry, Steve. Can't organize my presets out of user folder. When I save one preset, it saves in user folder automatically. Yeah, so I think what I was trying to say is that you can go back afterwards and save, because it's the route where it saves the preset is always going to be the user folder, but then afterwards you could probably go in and create your own folders and then make your own hierarchy. Bo James, who makes the curvy panels? think I think they're GIK. I don't quite remember. So this paneling actually was already in the room when I moved into it. So I didn't put up or any order any of these panels. Okay, so if you want to get your mind blown, check out if you guys know who the Gear Gods are. It's a YouTube channel for like gear review and guitar playing and stuff like that. So if you check out the Gear Gods, this used to be their room. So they some of their older videos, you'll see very familiar acoustic paneling. Um, okay. Okay, so Carl is asking any specific workflow on mastering process. Um, I guess it just depends on the mix. Like, I would say that um I have a general outline of things that I kind of try when it comes to mastering. I am not by any means a great mastering engineer. I generally just I just do what sounds good. And I don't have as sensitive an ear as some other mastering engineers, but generally it's a lot of like, you know, compression, EQ, clipping, limiting. That's generally it. Maybe some multiband compression if I need it, but generally not, because I'll have taken care of all those steps during the mixing process. So, usually if you can get a really great mix, there's really not a whole lot that needs to be done during the mastering process. So, and like there's a lot of like the top down approaches going on, like top down approach to mixing is very popular right now, and I started implementing it when I really didn't understand how to. So I think it's I don't know, it's kind of a tricky question because when you're learning how to master, you should be learning how to mix first. But it is always good to try out bus compression. It's good to try out your limiters and your clippers and try out and see what EQ does to your whole mix. So like I wouldn't worry about mastering so much until you just make sure that you got a really great mix going. Okay, so Beneath says, "Hey, I already own Archetype Pliny. Is it wise to invest in Nolly too? Yeah, they are different, but still working on a small budget. I mean, the Pliny is great. There are aspects of the Nolly that I like better. Um, as far as just like diversity of tones that you can make with the Nolly, I would say both are worth owning for sure. I think that both are worth owning for sure, but I would definitely wait until you have the budget to afford it, because I'm not going to tell you to go out and spend your money on like something if it's going to make you like miss meals, right? Like you got to feed yourself obviously, and you got to make sure that you're taken care of. I would say that when you have like a comfortable amount of enough money, then investing in it is nice because you do have those further options open to you. Especially if you're at all making, if you're mixing or you're working on your album or something like that, it's good to try it out. But um, it's good to have the options open to you. If you haven't try out the 14-day trial Beneath, because I can't exactly make that. I can't make that decision for you, but I can say that I do like both of them for different reasons. And I find it's useful to have both in my arsenal for what I'm doing. So yeah, check out the demo and see what you think. And I mean, like, you can even tag me in a Facebook post if you want to, on the in the user group. So like, let me know what you think. I would love to hear if you think that they are worth, if it's worth investing in both of them. So yeah. So Miguel is asking, is it really important to have acoustic panels in a home studio? I mean, can you mix properly without them? Um, if you're doing a professional mix, probably not. There are going to be factors in the room that are going to throw your ears off. Um, if you are learning how to mix, it's not the ideal situation. I mean, to be honest, I started learning how to mix in my parents' upstairs bedroom in a very lopsided dimension room because like I had my desk and I had about 25 feet worth of maybe 20 feet. Yeah, about 20 feet worth of space on my right and about 10 feet on my left. So like I had like this like really odd shaped room that I was working out of, and I just threw up moving blankets behind me to try and take care of reflections. So like it's good to have at least something there while you're learning, so that way your ears don't miss out on details. So it's not important to buy this stuff. However, like if you're just starting out, if you're just learning, this is a huge investment. This is a monstrous investment. I think that like, any one of these panels I think goes for at least 150 bucks online. So I mean like or more. I'm not really 100% sure. Don't quote me on that, but I mean like, this sort of acoustic paneling is important if you're doing it professionally. And it is important to have a good room to be mixing in and to be monitoring in. But if you're just like, say you're demoing your album and you're going to send it off to somebody else to get mixed, not a big deal. Um, but I would say that you're going to be kind of hindered by your space if you don't have any sort of acoustic treatment whatsoever. So, yeah. Okay, so let's see. Shred, what's up, my dude? How and he asks, how could I reduce the hum that guitar pickups take from the computer itself? I usually go sit further away, but can any specific cables or DI boxes help with this so I could sit closer? Okay, so if you haven't checked out the DI box video that I made, so like cables are gonna help. Some nicer cables are gonna help. Getting a DI box is gonna help with some issues, but whatever signal is actually getting into your pickups rather than into your cables, like that's just gonna be there. So it's unfortunately not. There are very few workarounds, to be honest. I mean, like you could try to get a power conditioner, but here's the thing. So like I worked on an album, like I was doing a solo album a couple of years back, um, and I spent I think 2.5 weeks trying to research as many like solutions to that same issue as I possibly could. So I got a DI box, I got a power conditioner, I got gold foil tape to wrap my pickups in. I got I moved around the room. I sat in weird, ridiculous positions so that way I could like you know mitigate that noise. But unfortunately, the location that I was in just had really bad electricity, or it was the Wi-Fi, or it was radio frequency interference. There was something in my environment that was causing me some real troubles. I ended up actually having to trash most of those sessions and then just re-record elsewhere. So I would definitely experiment with some things, but don't, like if you feel like a DI box. Okay, let's start there. Let's start with the DI box. A DI box will basically, a DI box is used when you want to send your signals over long distances, right? Because your microphone cables are less susceptible to noise interference than your quarter-inch cables. A DI box will break ground loops. So if you have a ground loop in your electricity, a DI box will break that. So those are things that it can help, but it cannot help what is being fed directly into the pickups. Again, so like if your computer signal or something is getting directly into your pickups themselves, there's nothing that you can really do about that. So hopefully that helps. Like I said, I ended up having to record in an entirely different environment altogether. But hopefully you can, without hearing the noise or knowing any additional information, it would be hard to gauge whether you can take care of that or not. Ryan here, what's up, dude? Matthias, what's up? Matthias asks, what could you recommend if you have high output pickups and the signal coming out of the interface is still very hot even when it's completely turned down? Let's see. Which Okay, so it kind of depends on the interface. Um, yeah, it depends on the interface because some interfaces have a pad switch in them. So like I think that I have. Let me take a look at my interface. Device settings. Yeah, so like on my in my on my input 1 and 2, I have a pad button which I can then just pad down the input by, I think it's like 6 dB or something like that. I don't remember. I barely use it, but that's a thing that you can do. I know that if you're working on like one of the earlier versions of the Scarlett interfaces, I know that that was kind of an issue for a lot of them. But yeah, let me know which interface you're using, and I can address it from there. So Rod Kings mentions to Matthias that he has a similar issue. Only thing that fixed it is that he had to play with his guitar volume around 5, never 10. Okay, I mean, and that is a way that you could do it. Another thing that you can do if you have a DI box that has a pad switch on it, you could do that. Let's see. Okay, so Thomas Jemet, what's up, dude? He asks, is it possible to switch automatically between plugins, e.g. lead tone in Archetype Nolly to clean tone in Archetype Plainy during live or recording sessions? Let's see. I think so. I've been kind of thinking about this problem recently. Whether and because I had similar idea, and I'm gonna start doing some experiments on whether I can map a MIDI control function to my plugin bypass switches. Because if I could bypass, like if I have like a row of like 4 archetype nollies and each one is like my lead tones or my rhythm tones, my clean tones, and I can just turn one off and then the other on, that might be possible. But I would have to do some experiments before I really endorse that. But if you want to switch automatically between DAWs, if you are playing, like if you automate, like, so if you're playing live, right, and your band is playing to a backing track, if you have your automation into, for your lead channel to, activate at this section, then bypass, and then your other one activates, like that to switch. If you do automation to activate and deactivate your presets or individual plugins, that could be a way that you get around that. Dimitro, what's up, dude? How's it going? Chuck Leone asks, would recording to a digital multi-tracker, then importing the raw audio files to a DAW make for a better sounding recording? Probably not. A digital multi-tracker. Are you talking like a Zoom recording or something like that? Because it matters, like, so your mic pre's matter, and obviously the digital audio conversion matters, and typically that stuff is fairly simple across the board. I mean, like if you have an interface that does have better mic pre's in it, then that's going to be something different. But like the Scarlett pre's are usually pretty transparent. If you're like recording into, okay, yeah, so so Chuck just clarified Zoom or Tascam instead of a PC. No, I imagine it's probably going to be fairly similar in quality, so I don't think that that's going to be much of a difference. Let's see. All right. Vineeth is asking, which power conditioner do I have in my studio? I just have okay, so I have 2 power conditioners, and they're both Furman. So like, that's your standard standard power conditioner for most studios. We'll use Furman. So like, I have M8X2, which is sort of your basic. I think it was like a $90 power conditioner. And then there's a nicer one. I can't read below my desk because it's dark. So Chuck Leon. Okay, so Chuck's actually chiming in on a previous question about noise, and he's saying that room lighting can cause a lot of noise, right? And that is actually very, very true. So I don't know, like if you have dimmer switches in your apartment or your house or your studio, like that can cause some severe noise. Yes. So like it's actually kind of frustrating how much noise can be caused by just like the simple things like air conditioning or lighting or a ceiling fan or uh what else? I don't know. Stoves. It's like all that stuff can contribute to it, because it's all creating frequencies in the air, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, definitely lighting can be a cause of that. Okay, so Matthias says he's got a Scarlett 6i6 and the pad switch is already turned on. Still very hot. Interesting. Huh. I don't know. That's a really good question. If you have active pickups, because I have a 6i6. I don't know if you guys have seen it in one of the videos or something like that, but I have a 6i6 and that's never been much of a problem for me. Maybe check the firmware or something like that as well. That could be an issue. Um, yeah, I'm kind of at a loss actually. Sorry about that, man. Yeah, so he comments in earlier. Matthias says, so I guess only a DI box or another interface would solve the problem. If it's a 6i6, huh? Yeah, that might be your only choice actually. I don't know. I mean, like, check on the Focusrite website and see if maybe they might have an issue, an FAQ or something like that. You can check out for that. Um, So Lucas chiming in on previous questions. So his computer produces so much noise that he has to basically play outside of his room to avoid weird interference and noises in his recordings. Yeah, no, that's pretty spot on. Like you go into a lot of older not even older studios, but a lot of like the higher end studios will have what they call like a machine room or something like that. And that's the room that they set all of their like noise making machines in, and then we'll just feed all the cables out that they need from that room. So yeah, the like noise is a big issue. And like, because here's what's happening is you have this like global shift to the home studio market, right? So people are getting like your 6i6s, your interfaces that are like affordable, and it's becoming more and more affordable for everybody to get into this audio world. But the problem is that the conditions and the environments aren't always going to be conducive for that exact thing, which is kind of frustrating. I mean, like that's why you go to a professional studio who has like grade A electricity and routing and grounding, so that way like you have the cleanest signals possible that you're recording. So Miguel is asking, is it a big difference between oversampling high and normal? I do notice a difference. I generally leave this oversampling on high, um, but I wouldn't say that it's going to make or break your mix. It does help a lot, and I do, like I said, I generally have all of my stuff sitting at oversampling high, but I don't. Um, it wouldn't bother me if I just opened up an instance of like, I don't know, the plainy, and it was just set for normal, and if I dialed in a good tone, I'm not gonna be upset, you know. But generally, that's how I feel about that. So, Jose, greetings. How's it going, my dude? All right, this has been a good Q&A session. It's very interesting. So Mikhail's asking, how about the tuner inside the plugin? So, so that's something they're working on, man. Definitely. So they are again, like they all pay attention. So that's I know that's something they're working on with the updates. Luca chimes in with, yeah, that drove me crazy. I got a Furman power conditioner. I changed my old interface to a 2i2 just to find that, surprise, surprise, his bedroom sucks for recording. Yeah, no, like, here's how I think that that's probably going to work for a lot of people is that, like, the home recording studio is awesome when you are demoing, demoing your album out or your EP or a single or something like that. I think that when you like it's great. Do as much work at home as possible and get your creation to the point where you're happy with it. And then like practice everything to the point of perfection. Then go into a studio, rent it for like 2 days, lay down guitar tracks, lay down bass tracks and vocals or whatever you can do, and like I don't know, to maybe upwards of 5 days if you have like the cash for it. But like most studios are pretty affordable, have a pretty affordable day rates. And then go into there because they'll also have a lot of equipment that you just are not going to have access to. Like if you guys came to this studio that I'm working at and wanted to track guitars, there are at least I think 15 different amp heads in the next room over inside a big drum room with nice sounds. I mean, like good paneling. So like that's I have no problem with the home studio scene because people are making great music out of their homes right now. But I mean, there's always going to be the need for live studio rooms, that sort of thing. Um, but yeah, you know, I mean, like I got started in the home studio world, and now I'm here. Like I have nothing to complain about because that's where I got my start from was just like self education, and a drive and a motivation to really just learn as much as I could as quickly as I could because circumstances kind of made it necessary. But yeah. Lucian Wraith. Hey, brother, any sales coming up? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Black Friday's coming up, but I don't know. Like, I'm not sure about any sales. I know that they just sent out a voucher to get Plainy 15% off. I think it's in the email that was sent out just recently. If you're not on the email, go to neuraldsp.com. Go to the bottom and put in your email to be subscribed to the newsletter. We won't spam you with garbage. Like usually we just put out like the videos that are coming out with the on YouTube and any like interesting stuff that's happening with the company or the plugins. And occasionally you'll get a nice voucher to get something cheaper. Okay, so Miguel is asking which is the best speaker for best flat response speaker for Neural DSP plugins to play in a concert. I don't know. I actually haven't done any research into that personally. Let me check the Facebook group real fast. See if that's happening at the moment. So Neural DSP FRFR. So there's this really awesome feature in the Facebook user groups that if you go to the left, there's a search bar. So if you type in flat response or FRFR or, playing live, like you'll come up with all the threads because I know people have talked about them in the chats. Yeah, I'm not seeing too much, but I would definitely check there first. As I said, I'm not. I haven't done the. Yeah, I haven't done the research in that yet, so I couldn't really. I only like to endorse things that I believe in and that I would personally use. So yeah, I couldn't speak on that because I haven't used any myself yet. Lucian says thanks. No worries, man. No worries. Okay, so Travis is asking if I happen to know when the rest of the plugins will have that MIDI update, like what I did with the Nolly and the Fortin Hydra. Okay, cool. Yeah. No, it's good. It's a good question. I mean, like they're working on it currently, and it's going to be out soon. They don't know the exact date, so therefore I don't know the exact date. I know it's going to be very, very soon, though. Probably maybe within the next couple of months, but like it's coming really, really quick. And I actually do want to make a follow up video. To the Fortin Hydra one because that one was just a simple channel selector that only sends out PC commands. I actually got myself a Behringer FCB 1010, and that one sends out CC MIDI commands as well. So like it's a little bit more flexible than the Fortin Hydra is, but yeah, no, me too. I mean, like I've gone back and I've been working around with the nameless and the NTS again because I was working really hard on making the content for like the Plainy and the Nolly. So I got kind of caught up in working on those ones alone, and then I went back and used the nameless just recently, and I was just like, oh man, just blown away like all over again. It was awesome. Uh, so yeah, getting MIDI control to that, I'm gonna be so excited for that. I'm gonna be so excited for that. All right. But yeah. Also, Travis, no apologies necessary. Like I don't ever mind. I don't ever mind anybody asking questions, especially like if I've already answered them. I don't mind answering them again because I'm not gonna say like, oh, go to that video I posted like 3 weeks ago. It's like I'll always answer any questions that are brought to me. So yeah, no worries, Dieter. Igloo Zoo, what's up, dude? He says he's so glad he made the stream. Good to have you, man. We'll be, I mean, I'll be on for the next 20 minutes or so. So yeah. Okay, so I'll go with Modern Vintage's question first. Do you keep your guitars in cases when when not there or working? Wondering if it's best to avoid any potential temperature-related issues, even with electrics in a studio. Um, I don't worry about it too much in my studio. Um, the like generally the thing that's going to damage your instrument the worst, because I used to work at a guitar shop, so I ran into a lot of repairs that had to deal with temperature related issues. But so as long as your instrument is not like directly in the path of your air conditioning, it's usually going to be pretty good. And as long as your temperature range, like the lowest and the highest it goes, does not vary a lot, then you're not going to have to worry about it too much. I mean, obviously, get your instruments set up professionally and check their intonation and check the action. Like those are definitely steps that you always want to take regardless of your situation. But I wouldn't worry about it too terribly much. I mean, like even in my apartment, I don't worry about my instruments quite so much. Now, so another point on that is that heat is always going to be worse for your instrument than cold, just because when you heat up the wood of your instrument, that's when it tends to warp. My brother ran into that when he was younger. He had a Santa Cruz Steve Kaufman signature, and he left it in the trunk of his car on a hot Sacramento summer day, and the neck came off because the glue has a melting point. Um, but yeah, no, that guitar was never the same again. So like, obviously, be careful of your instrument. Make sure that it's not in front of your heater. Make sure it's not in front of your vents, and you should be all right with that. Yeah, like pretty much all my stuff is out. I think like I have my comparisons on the stand here. I have my acoustic back here, the Legator and the ESP. This is hard to do because I'm looking at this in reverse on my screen. My ESP, then I got my cello over here. So like it's all out, but nothing is around the vents in my room either. So yeah, just make sure that it's not around any vents, extreme temperature differentials of heat and cold. And you should be all good. Again, cold is always better than hot. You might have to deal with some issues if it's too cold, but again, I would rather do that than go with heat damage. Okay, so Igloo Zoo is asking about modulation and time-based pedals before the plugins. Yeah, I mean, what would you like to know? Okay, so all right, cool. He followed up. A bit of background. He uses a board with an overdrive fuzz to start into modulation time effects, kind of like an FX loop, and he wanted to see how it would go down with the plugins. I mean, that's a really good question. I think I talked a little bit last week about doing some plugins after the interface and before your cabinet. Kind of like the, or sorry, oh yeah, sorry. It's after your interface and before your power head. So that way it's kind of like you have your effects loop. Going into, I mean, like you could go from your guitar to your pedal board to your input, but that is always going to get the saturation of your head. So like if you're doing time-based stuff, like a lot of delay, it's going to get a bit too washy depending on the style that you're playing. But like, yeah, I mean, you would treat it as you would any other amplifier, really, because your signal is going to your interface, which is essentially the direct into your head, and then the signal is getting processed there, and then you're sending it out to your power head section of your whether you have the Seymour Duncan power stage or you have a solid state power amp, to the effects return, and then from there out to your cabinet. So like, yeah, I would treat it as the same as any amplifier. So like any stuff that I wanted before the head, I would plug directly into that and then into your interface. Anything that would be in the effects return or effects loop would be from the interface to my power head. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Okay, so Miguel is asking, which bundle of plugins do you use for your mixes? Steven Slate, Waves, FabFilter. Igloo Zoo, man. No, thank you, dude. I appreciate you coming out and hanging out with me. So back to Miguel's question. Okay, so he's asking what plugins I use for my mixes. I tend to use the FabFilter like a lot, especially the Pro Q3, the multiband compressor. The compressor is also really, really nice. What else am I using? I don't know. Let's see. What else am I using? I'm just going to go to my Pro Tools. Oh yeah, so I use Pro L2 a lot, and I really like Pro L2. Let's see. What else am I using? I think for this stuff, like for this session, it wasn't really complicated. I'm playing to a backing track, so I don't really need much. But if I'm looking at like, let's see. I also use a lot of Waves plugins. Here we go. So TG mastering. So I had just started using this plugin recently, which I really like. Has a really nice EQ, good stereo filled stereo spreader, good. It's pretty nice. I've been using this a bit. Get it on sale though. Oh my gosh, like this is my like go-to Shep's Omnichannel. Yes. So this Shep's Omnichannel, I've been using this a ton for my mixing. Like the EQ is so sweet. Like if you pump up this like high band, drop this down to about like 2 or 3K, and then just pump up that like brightness on your guitar buses, it sounds so sweet. It has a really nice compressor. The pre actually sounds really good too. So if you want to do some like saturation on your buses or something like that, or individual channels, that's also really good. So generally speaking, those are kind of the things that I've been using recently. Cool. Actually, Miguel, it might be actually a good question because I got this recently in one of the comments in the comment section on one of the videos recently. Somebody asking me about doing like a full mix of a song. Is that something that you feel would be useful or interesting or like good to watch? Like, because obviously I want to be able to create content that you guys are going to like and enjoy. Um, but like if I'm gonna just make, I don't know, like an hour long video, like would that be something that people would actually want to watch? So that's a question for everybody as much as Miguel because he's asking about that specifically. So okay, so Anthony uh is asking, do you know if and when it will be possible to map specific Nolly presets with MIDI commands? Um That's a good question. I know that was raised. That was actually just raised in the user Facebook group recently, and I know that that's something that they're aware of that idea. I don't know if they are going to implement it or when, but I know that's something that personally I would really prefer. Because yeah, I mean, like you can map the left and right buttons to your MIDI pedal board. Um, but I don't like that. I don't like having to cycle through left and right, right? Like that's not like I don't like having to do a tap dance to get to my favorite preset. Like I don't know if any of you guys ever had um those Digitech pedals where you had like, you know, something like 900 presets and but you had to hit like the left and right buttons to like cycle through the presets on there. Like I just don't like that. I would rather have like two or three slots that you can put your presets in and then just assign your buttons to go from that to that to that because that would be so much easier to do. But yeah, so I don't know if that's something that they are going to implement, but I know they are aware of that idea, and I think that that's something that if asked enough, and I think that if that's something people want enough and talk about in the Facebook group, they will pay attention to that and see what they can do about implementing it. So there you go. So talk about it in the Facebook group, like they are paying attention and they want to give you the best experience possible. So yeah. Um, Okay, so Travis is saying it's not a question, but but if anyone is scared to update their Mac to the Catalina, it shouldn't be. Catalina works just fine with the Neural. So this was actually addressed by Sebastian in the Facebook group recently, um, where he basically said the same thing. Like all the plugins work with Catalina, but just be careful when switching over, right? Like, we have beta testers and we do have people working on um, these updates just to make sure that everything is compatible and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, so just, be careful when you switch and maybe wait just a little bit longer. Um, like I never ever update my computer immediately when an update's out because I know there's always going to be patches afterwards. So like Windows just had like an update recently, and I like waited a good amount of time till I knew that it was like stable enough for me to use because that like I can't afford any downtime on my computer. Like straight up, I just cannot afford to do that. Like I can work off of my laptop if I absolutely need to, but I'd much rather work off of my monster of a computer that I have next to my desk. So all right, so Vineeth is mentioning that he would watch a complete song mix. So cool, awesome. Um, Follow up question to that, is that something? So watching a complete song mix. So like normally whenever I'm writing any of my tunes, whether it's like for the Neural channel or for my any like personal stuff, I'm usually mixing as I'm going along. Like I'm doing a lot of the production work and I'm kind of just getting everything in the ballpark as is. But like, would you guys want me to take just straight stems like guitar DI, bass DI, drum stems, like or drum tracks, like from scratch, from absolute zero up to a full mix? Like that would be a good. That's actually a better question to ask. Um, and then a follow up question to that: would you guys want it to be your songs? Like I'm actually genuinely curious what everybody is doing with these plugins. So if you guys had enough input, if you guys wanted this enough and sent me some stems to work with, I could then start working on a new series where I could feature your guys' music on the channel. I could do a full mix and then whatever. Like, you guys get the exposure, et cetera, et cetera. So like if that's something that you guys want or are interested in, hit me up. Let me know. I put this out a couple of months ago actually, but I didn't get any takers. So again, this is something that I'm really, really into, but y'all gotta step up and send your stuff to me. So if you like it, if you like the idea, send it to steven@neuraldsp.com and yeah, hit me up. Let me know what you think. So cool. All right, so it is 1:56. I'll start putting in the call for last questions. So Matthias is saying, go for the full mix experience, dude. Yeah. Okay, cool. I like that as well. So it seems like I'm getting some good feedback on that. So I mean, like I said, that's something that I would really, really want to do. Because for me, I know that for me, it was very, very, it was super helpful for me to actually watch what people did. To be able to hear the changes in real time was super, super useful for my learning process. Because then I got the feel for what exactly the purpose is. Like listening to listening to a compressor and having somebody go like, this is what a fast attack does. This is what a slow attack does. This is what a long release does. This is what a short release does, et cetera, et cetera. And being able to like hear and watch that in real time is super useful. So again, if you guys are interested, hit up steven@neuraldsp.com and we'll start talking. So yeah. All right. Any more questions? We got a couple more minutes. So, and then I'm going to go and continue working and get out of this really warm studio room. Awesome. Seems like you guys are into the idea. Yeah, again, send it on over. I mean, again, I can do this with my own stuff, but I kind of like the idea of shining a spotlight of people who are actually using this to try and make their own music, So, yeah. Have a good one, Tyler. I'll talk to you soon, man. All right. Very, very cool. Miguel, not a problem, man. It's my pleasure. And like I said, I'm here to help. I enjoy this so much. Like I really like being able to help you guys try and figure this stuff out, and I really enjoy being able to give you guys real-time responses to your questions, and because that's what ended up helping me out in the first place. So yeah, it's my pleasure. So modern vintage, and this will be the last question of the day. He mentions he was told by our producer that they're still very far away from E-drum kits being as close to acoustic as plug-in amps are to amps. Thoughts on this versus just programming drums? Yeah. I mean, I guess it just depends on the amount of time that you spend. So I know some people. One of my neighbors, in fact, actually, very quickly, Lucian Wraith says, thanks for all the info. I can't wait to get the name list. The demos just kicked me right in the head. I had the same experience, man. Sound toy plugs, they're great. I love them. Adam Berger asks if I use Sound Toy plugins. Yes, I do. Occasionally, whenever I'm doing like production work. But sorry, back to modern vintage. Thoughts on electronic drums. So electronic drums are very, very, like, you have to know how to program electronic drums, like doing like MIDI and stuff like that. You have to be able to know, um, like you have to like be able to like know what velocities are going to be like for it to sound correct. Um, but no, I think that you can really still make some great sounding drums using electronic drums. Like there are a lot of songs that use them that I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, I don't, I'm very pragmatic when it comes to this sort of stuff. Like, I don't have that view that it's like, oh, it all has to be, genuine to be good. It's like, no, you listen to pop and like, there's some really great pop music, but most of that's fake. Or, I mean, like, not fake, but it's been synthesized, for that specific song. So it's like, I can't be mad, especially if I listen to a song and somebody goes, oh, those are program jumps. It's like, sweet. That's actually really cool. Um, so yeah, so I think that definitely they're probably not as close to acoustic drums as Sims are to amplifiers. True, they're probably not as close, but they are really, really close. If you have the right cymbals, if you have the right snare, the right kick, like it all sounds very, very close to my ear. And again, like I just don't really particularly care too much about that aspect. Hire a live drummer when you can, but if not, like there are a lot of really great programs that are out there. Like the room sound that I use in the Superior Drummer 3 are all really fantastic. So yeah. Okay, so Matthias says so this is him talking. Maybe we could send you our own mixes with all of the tracks, and then you can mix it in order to compare the results. I would love that. I would absolutely love that. So yeah, if you want to do that, then by all means. Again, so email me, steven@neuraldsp.com, or you can tag me in the Facebook group or whatever. Get a hold of me and we'll start talking. And we'll get everything organized. So yeah, like I would love to hear you guys' mixes. Like Tyler Britton just sent me something he was working on and it sounded badass, and I loved it. So yeah, send me your stuff. I'd love to take a listen to it. Again, it's like you guys are the ones that are actually using this stuff to make your own music and being creative with it. And I want to be, I want to hear more of what you guys are working on. So cool. Let's see. So way more lucrative for the bomb parties. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. Modern vintage. This is truly the last thing. Okay. So modern vintage says using the MXR Dookie drive as an example, seems it would be way closer to the album tone to make a plugin based on that tone than a pedal, which goes into another amp interface, etc. Also way more lucrative for all parties. Imagine artist-backed libraries for specific album and song tone plugins, also updatable over time, unlike pedals. Yeah, no, that's very, very true. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think that it's kind of cool that like, all of these artist tones, like the Archetype series, are kind of taking into account like this specific person's pedals. Like these are, very, very personal to like the Nolly or Plainy. Like these are the tones that they actually use for their albums, and being able to like capture that and say like this is what they use is very, very cool. So yeah. All right, Luca. Yeah, absolutely. So it seems like I'm getting a lot of really good feedback on that idea. So yeah, again, contact me. Let me know what you think. And as always, I'll see you in that next video. Y'all have a great week, and I'll see you another video uploading on Friday. So I'll see you then.